everyone. Welcome to the 420 Smoke Room. Today, this afternoon or morning, would normally do it at night, but this morning we're going to have Lori and Steve join us from Gift of Life, Canna. They're another vibe on Relevant. You should definitely check them out. We are live on Relevant. For those of you who want to join us, go ahead and head on over there. And you can also catch the replay if you weren't able to catch the live. This morning we're just going to have coffee and a little wake and bake session, and we're going to get to know a little bit more about what the Gift of Life and Canna is about, how they operate, and what services do they provide. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm just waiting for them to hop on. We are excited and ready for this winter. I don't know how many of you have winter plans or goals, but I definitely know that I'm really ready for winter with all my plans and goals for sure. I don't want to leak anything yet, but I've got a lot of exciting, fun things planned. For those of you who have not entered our Relevant group, you should definitely head on over there. We have a $100 giveaway. The $100 is basically how it works is once we get 100 members into the group, we will do a giveaway for $100, and then Gift of Life Canna also has a $100 giveaway. They're trying to get to 100 members. Both of us are working together hardcore to get each of us 100 members. So if you're in each vibe and you're one of the first 100 members, you will automatically be entered for a chance to win 100 from me, the 420 Smoke Room. And if you enter the Gift of Life Canna vibe on Relevant, you will also have a chance to win an additional 100. So yes, you heard that correctly. That would be 200 if you win both, or 100 if you win one. But you definitely have double the chance. So Gift of Life Canna has joined us. Steve and Lori, welcome.
Welcome. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
Hey, everybody.
We're good. Are we live over on Relevant for you as well? So we are live also in the Gift of Life Canna on Relevant for those of you who are interested. We're also live on several other platforms, just so you guys know.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Good. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So I kind of just told everybody that we're gonna ask you what is Gift of Life Canna? What is it about? What do you guys do? What services do you offer? What is your whole purpose? I kind of want to reiterate that to the public, and then maybe we could tell people what I do on your platform and just reintroduce each other to each other's platforms.
Okay, sure, Trish. What we do, we are advocates, advocating for those who need a voice, those who may be interested in learning about cannabis and CBD. We also are activists. We go to rallies, and we have rallies, and we're fighting for the legalization of cannabis.
And where are you located? Where are these rallies, and where are you fighting for those of you who don't know where they're from?
We are from Texas, and the rallies are usually in Austin. We went to the Capitol last year and had a rally. It was called Walk for Cannabis.
Yes, I seen that. You were live on Facebook, and I really felt like I got to be a true part of that by interacting with your lives, because I'm here all the way in Michigan, for those of you who don't know. I know Lori knows, but I'm in Michigan, and I can't actually just attend every rally that I like. So I really love when activists go live when they're at these rallies, because it makes us on Facebook or other social media platforms feel like we're present with you. We're fighting just as hard as you are, it feels like. So yes, I really loved when you guys did that. Continue though. I just wanted to give you your props.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, they just they took Delta 8 off of the out of the smoke shops here in Texas, and we had 14 days. They're going to court, and we should be finding out something here in the next few days if they can put Delta 8 back on the shelves or not, because that's the only thing we have besides 1% T-cup here is 1% THC.
Yes, and you have to have one of the qualifying conditions, which is basically neurodegenerative diseases and PTSD, cancer, and they amended at the last minute chronic pain, so that's not on there.
Yes, which that's a wide variety of people that actually classify their medical marijuana licenses or usage under chronic pain versus an opiate.
Right.
That was actually when the opiate
Right.
pandemic came in, a lot of people, the weed enterprise was on the rise at the same time. So it was just natural that we switch from one drug to another, a said drug. But I don't look at marijuana as a drug. But I do feel like they took us from one medication to another medication. And instead of opiates, it was marijuana or Delta 8 for you guys down south. And now we're taking you from Delta 8, but there's nothing to like wing you off of Delta 8 and on to what's next.
Well, Trish, you know, the laws are so wonky here in Texas. They're gray. People don't know what the laws are. And it's just kind of confusing for everyone right now with the Delta 8 and the lawsuits that have been filed. So I guess we'll know by the beginning of the year what's going to
go down. So
like
how is
the 1%? That was also amended. It was supposed to be 5% THC, and they amended it to 1%, which, if anyone knows, that's just a hair above the legal limit for CBD.
Right, and we're not smashing the teacup program here in the state of Texas.
No.
We're trying to get it raised off the 1% cap.
Is there a way to file a petition to amend it again back to the 5%, or to void the amendment that took it down from 5 to?
I believe someone is trying to do that.
But I believe it would take Texas so long to get that amendment.
Yeah, they sit on the bills as it is.
Well, if you think about it, once Delta 8 becomes legal, like illegal technically, it becomes a form of marijuana. The next goal would inevitably be, you would think, for your government who wants to financially benefit, you would think that they would make a version of THC or a higher percentage legal now, so the Delta 8 farms could go back into operation but be under tax operation to where they're now pocketing. I think it was more or less about a middleman, because if marijuana became legal in Texas, you guys are all Delta 8. It's not going to really change anything. But I think that the pocket-wise of the government financially benefiting or gaining off of the Delta 8 farms,
right.
I think that maybe somebody could get if Delta 8 becomes illegal now and the amendment takes, let's say, 6 months, hopefully by June the amendment raises it back to 5%, which then would include in that teacup license Delta 8, which means all the Delta 8 farms would have to have a form of a T8 or teacup, but that still doesn't allow them to grow. So at that point, they would still be fighting for, obviously, the grow. So hopefully
that's exactly what a lot of us are fighting for, is the grow, because and with the teacup program, flour is not legal.
Yeah, you can't grow on that or consume. You can only, but you would have to grow the product in order to make another form. So how does that work?
Flour is legal. You know.
Right, but
now,
but here's my question. So if Delta 8 is illegal and the teacup is legal, how would I get my own products for the teacup without having to grow? Because you have to take your grow to turn it into those products. Without a grow, you wouldn't have the products for the teacup license. So is there a shop where you could purchase your teacup items, or are you allowed to grow them and make them and manufacture them yourself?
No, you have to purchase your teacup
supplies.
Gummies. I've only seen the gummies, but I'm told the oil is legal. But there's only like three different dispensaries here in Texas, and that's where you get your gummies.
Okay, so you have to still go outsource to shop. So that's how they're getting their taxes on the teacup. So if the teacup was amended and we added flour, and we added 5%, we could get marijuana hypothetically legal before the end of next year. If not, then on the ballots for next year, come the November, we hopefully vote to get marijuana legal. Hopefully we get enough people and it passes, and hopefully by January 1st of 2023, marijuana will be legal, which will then in turn make Delta 8 legal once again. So I could see this fight being 6 months to a year long, depending on what route the activists take in Texas. Seeing that I'm not in Texas to file like any documentations or anything like that, and I'm not a resident, I have no idea how they're going to do it, but that's what I would personally do right there. I would do plan A and B at the same damn time.
Right.
And if plan A fails, I'm already 10 steps ahead on B, buddy. Or a petition for plan C, like
join us at
plan
our
C.
Because, if power comes in numbers, and
yeah, so plan C. What about a petition? What about a petition to petition a void of one of the new amendments or something if your own amendment doesn't work? Or what about a filing for a new act or bill to put in that specifically Delta 8 percentages or specifically allowed amount of grow per numbers of CB, like, I don't know how you guys would word it down there, because your guys' laws are so different than any other state. It's fucking fucking ridiculous. Shit. If it was me, I'd be trying every which way. I'd hit every angle. Every angle. I'd be just doing them all. Fuck it.
Right. I think that's what they want us to do over here, is not know nothing about it, especially whenever they go to session. Right. With it, because we don't know.
It seems like they're changing the laws on you as soon as you get educated. It's time to change them. They know.
Right.
Let's amend that law. Let's change that act. Fuck that shit. They're not getting it. No. We said no. But them saying no is cutting their financial equity out of that. Like, you know how much money is in that industry? Why do they not want their hand in that pot legitimately?
I don't get it. All about the alcohol.
So prohibition back then was down south. I never lived down south to keep up with all of that. So, okay, I can see that being more about the monies than the alcohol, but nowadays there's more stoners than alcoholics. I'm sorry.
What's crazy about the whole deal, we're trying to get the marijuana pushed to legalization, and they put alcohol where they'll put in an ice cream truck and drive around the neighborhood and sell daiquiris and stuff like that.
Oh my God, I want one. I don't even drink because I got kidney disease, but I've never seen an ice cream truck with strawberry daiquiris. I would be first in fucking line.
Come to Texas.
I want my bud and my liquor together. They would be stupid. They could double up them businesses and double up the profit for each company. Add some bud to each one of those trucks, and you got a fucking business.
Exactly. I mean, I see there in California, they're putting out mixing alcohol with marijuana. What is it? Vodka, wine, all kind of stuff. They're mixing with alcohol with THC. So why don't you combine it all together like they're doing?
Right.
Make more money. Make more money.
Right. I feel like they will, but they have to make the best approach, because if they move too fast, they're going to cut themselves out. And it's all about like a checkers game and lining up all the pieces just for everything to be right. And I think once they're at that full alignment, where then the transition will start to conspire. But I don't think that that's going to happen, sadly, for Texas until at least another year. I feel that they're that far behind still in the court documentations and when you vote, because you only get to vote, so many times a year on things.
We don't get to vote at all. We can't vote, like some of the other states can have it on their back, because we would be legal if that would be the case. But we are not allowed.
So I'm still confused, because I've heard many people say that about Texas, but I haven't had time to do my own homework yet, which I definitely think I'm going to get to tonight then, is I want to understand when someone puts an act or a bill in, it's a constitutional right. That's why we're a free nation, or the people, or whatever the words are. I'm tongue twisted right now because I'm smoking a blunt and I can't think of the actual words on my tongue, but or democracy. I think it's the word democracy. We are allowed to vote and have a say-so. So I know that Texas doesn't participate in our federal laws and our federal shit, so I get that. So how is the vote, like, how does the people not have a say, but the people are still part of the people? Like, That's what I want to know.
Chris, that's a good question.
So answer me.
I was told, because we were going to try to get this going where we could vote on this instead of the government.
So how do you do that? Why are we not there yet? Hundreds of years.
I'm going to say the name, LaTanya Winnington. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying her name anyway. So
Cannabis reform.
Cannabis reform.
I've heard about cannabis reform. What do they do?
Activist for Texas,
okay.
Of course, but she's a judge.
Yeah, she's an
election judge, right? So, and her husband and I have been talking about trying to get this put on the ballot, but it will take so long. It would take longer. I think marijuana would be legal before the amendment would ever happen.
Okay. So that means somebody has some type of inside information in order for them to say that to you back. Because if you're going to sit here and tell me marijuana will be legal before that conspires, then that means there's already bills or acts or other things in motion to do so. Otherwise, that would be the best plan, because it doesn't matter how long it takes, even if it's 5 or 10 years, until those actions are done and that time is taken and that time is served to get to the goal that you need. Could we move past this? So the longer that we say it's not worth it, the longer you're still not going to be legal, it sounds, until somebody decides, I don't care how long it takes, we're doing this. And at that point, in order for a judge to say that we're not going to put it, like, I want to help, but we're not going to do this, this, and this because of this, that, and the third, that means this, that, and the third sees a bigger picture that we're just not quite seeing yet, and they see that there's no value in doing your plan because it's going to expire before the goal is actually accomplished, like she said. So there's got to be something, a bigger movement than what we're aware of taking place behind closed doors. And I think that as a judge, she can't legally say what those will or won't be, but I definitely feel like I think she sits at a good team table meeting somewhere along the way, and she's got some good vital information that's been sent her way or that her ear has picked up, and she believes that this will take forth. And if she believes as a judge that will be what it is, then I think that's putting your feet up and waiting won't be a big deal then, and let the activists do what the activists do along the way, and it'll all work out in its favor in due time. But what I still don't understand, though, is why, as we as the people considered part of the people, but yet don't have a vote, regardless of what it is, whether it's on women's rights, whether it's on gay marriages, whether it's on alcohol, whether it's on imprisonment, whether it's on wrongfully incarcerated, whether it's on the water bill, like whether it's, you guys should have a say or a vote in the president, the elections. So literally back when the constitutions were being written, the reason why we have Democrat, Republican, and then the House is so not one party could take over and be majority of anything. Okay. So how is it that Texas doesn't have the vote of the Democrat, which is the people, and the Republican, which is the people, and the vote of the House? Why does the House have the say-so as the majority, when the whole reason the government and system was set up was to prevent that? So how did they get that in their clause? I never did enough studying back in history or school to learn that, nor even be aware that they didn't have a right to vote. I've always assumed that the only thing different with Texas was that their federal system and their federal taxes are different because of the treaty, like back when the 13 colonies and all that good stuff came forth. But long story short with that still never stopped voting. Like, I never knew there wasn't a vote from the people until just literally a couple weeks ago, which changes so much things, because as the people, you can't be an activist and make movements without documentations, and the documentations and the papers allow you to move forward and make the real changes. So how does the House have the say? So how does the House get the vote? And the House also gets to create the rules. Like, there's no one creating and determine what rules get created. Like, you can put them in, but the House is going to determine if it's a good rule or not. Yeah,
not the citizens.
Well, the Democrats, the House, what was it, CARE Act?
The CARE Act, right.
Which legalized marijuana. But it still sits there, and here we are with the teacup. What happened to the CARE Act? I mean, that would the House approved. They said yes to the CARE Act.
Good morning, Glenn.
Republicans.
Oh,
The
Glenn.
Republicans were down with it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's crazy. It seems like every 2 years when we go to session, or when they go to session, when Texas goes, of course, we don't know anything about it.
True.
Like you said.
One moment, Steve. Good morning, Glenn. Welcome on. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. How are you guys doing?
We're great. Welcome to the discussion.
Glenn, how are you?
I'm good, Steve-O.
So-
How are you guys? Hello, guys.
So I got a question for you, Glenn. Welcome to the discussion. Maybe you have the answer to our question. Why is Texas have we the people, like they're part of the United States where everybody else gets to vote and decide, there's the House, and then there's us that vote. So why does in Texas we the people are part of the people, but yet the people don't have the opportunity in Texas to vote on anything? Why do they not get to vote? Because I know you're in Ohio, but I know you also work with a lot. Your organization has a location in Texas, I believe, as well.
Yep.
So why is that? Can you help answer that? Why do the people in Texas why are they not allowed to vote? And what do they got to do to change that so they can have a say-so as we the people?
The biggest reason why
I can't hear.
Oh, he just put us on hold real quick. I believe his wife or a female asked him a question.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to live. So for those of you still listening, Glenn is from last night. He's from what organization do you run again? The Human.
We have the Creative Care Beacon, and we are the Ohio chapter of the Human Solution International.
Okay. I just wanted to let everybody know because we're live and relevant as well as 15 other platforms. So I just kind of want to let people know who Glenn is and where you're from and what before you answer that. So that's all. So what about Texas? Why do they not have the right again to vote as the people?
You guys don't have a citizens initiative. So a normal person, one of your citizens, can't write up a petition and take it to your attorney general and have them certify that and then go out and collect signatures on that particular
right.
thing. What you guys have to do in Texas is you're going to have to push your governor to allow citizens initiatives. And see, that's the biggest thing with Ohio, and that's why Ohio is working and gaining so much traction is because the citizens of Ohio can write their own laws. And as long as they take it to the attorney general, they can get that certified and then take that to the people and have the people then vote on it. There's a lot of states that are like that. Don't have Indiana's another state that don't allow initiatives.
I never heard that. And this is really crazy because when the Constitution was written, one of our actual rights as a United States citizen is that right. So how is that right given based on the jurisdiction of a state line?
Because within states, your powers to be, the people that are in charge, are allowed to they're allowed to change things at will. They can change anything that...
Oh, we just lost Glenn. He'll probably hop back on. But until he does, my next question...
That's exactly what we were talking about doing was writing a petition and getting signatures.
Well, you can't do that. You can't get a petition because he just said, I understood what he just said. And basically what he's saying...
No, he was cutting down.
No, so basically, Lori, what he's saying, let me re-break that down for you. What he was saying is that certain states don't actually have the same protocol like Michigan and Ohio where you create a petition, you get people to sign it, you take it to the governor, he agrees, then you write an act or a law. Those chain of operation and order of command are not the same, in your state. So in your state, you're going to have to push to do, he was trying to give that answer, but he said to get your Senate to agree. And if your Senate agrees, then your Senate can help push the bill. And only a Senate can create those things. And unless you're a Senate or one of you become a Senate, would you guys be a senator? Would you guys be able to get those? Your order of operation, how you create bills, acts, laws, and become as we the people to vote are not the same. So my next question, which was going to ask Glenn, which if he listens to the replay, maybe he can answer at another time, is did that initially happen back when the 13 colonies, is only the first 13 colonies the ones that actually have the right in that order of operation to create laws and vote, that we're given the American right, and every other country that came after working our way to America kind of just came in with their own rules and laws, it sounds like, and those states kind of got whatever they came up with. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, I want to look into that, and that's something I want to look into and learn, because in order to fix the problem, you have to figure out where it started and what was the root, and then once you learn that, then you can learn how to fix, and then fix with whatever order of operation. But you have to learn the order of operation in Texas, because without that, you're not going to become legal no matter what you do. Like, we got to figure out what is the order there, because it definitely ain't the same here. It ain't the same there. And learning the law in your own state is great, but trying to learn the law in other states that you've never been to or even lived in is really hard and confusing, especially if you don't go back to when they came, because so many acts and laws were amended, which they change a law. So it might have been a law back in the 80s or 70s, like marijuana, here being illegal, now legal. So it just depends on when those laws were acted, like what amendments. So there's a lot of studying to do. So definitely you guys need to reach out and find an activist that knows the laws down there and knows how to work whatever petitions or how to get a hold of a Senate, or find someone with a good Senate connection, or find a senator that's actually pro-marijuana and try to win that senator over. And winning that senator over sounds like what Glenn was saying you need to do. And if you guys do that, your mission just may be accomplished.
Right. Well, I think we're going to have LaTanya next week.
Oh, I'm so geeked.
Right. She'll be able to answer a lot of these questions. So y'all stay tuned. I'm not quite sure what day, but LaTanya and she will be able to answer a lot of these questions maybe for us.
I want to try to get LaTanya to either come on tonight or tomorrow.
Okay. Well, tomorrow night is our Saturday Night Live. We should do it then, because tonight I have a Sprinkle for Some Love with a Cause podcast with a girl named Summer who has been sick and in and out of the hospital, and I really want to interview her for sure and get her journey and story documented.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to ask you guys, what services do you guys provide to the general public, or what are you guys out there? What are you guys doing?
Oh, we have lives on our Facebook, and like I said, we're going to be starting our lives on Relevant next week. We'll be launching. We'll probably do lives a couple of times a week. Yeah. And we also have Instagram. We're on Instagram and TikTok, and we educate on all of our platforms about cannabis and the healing properties of cannabis.
And RSO. I learned a lot about RSO through you guys. Right. I definitely was waiting for that one to come on out.
Right.
Yes, RXO, for those of you who don't know, is Rick Simpson oil, if I'm correct. That's what it is
Correct.
here.
Correct.
That's what it's
Correct.
here.
What it is, it's full extracted cannabis oil.
Okay.
Some people call it FICO or SO. It's really just one and the same. It's just how it's extracted. And we also have a .com now. You can find us there. We're building. It's under construction right now, but it will be giftoflifecannacare.com, and we'll have gear and some education on there as well.
I'm excited for that to launch.
Lots of education and information.
That's what we all need for sure. So, with that being said, I definitely am excited. Do you have any questions for me?
I'm sorry, Trish. I was reading a notification.
It's okay. I'm choking on my blunt.
Let everyone know what all the little things that you're into these days. I know you have a lot going on.
Yeah. So, for those of you over at Gift of Life Canacare on Relevant that are live with us, basically I am the CEO and the founder of Sprinkle Some Love with a Cause by Trisha Mullen. It's a podcast and a nonprofit organization where we bring awareness to people who are sick and are struggling from multiple diseases or any disease. And I do a podcast with them. I bring them on. We talk about their journey. We talk about their battles, their treatments, the surgeries they had, their relationship, their life, depression, how it affected them. We talk about who our support systems were and are and give them a shout out. It's pretty much a positive place where you can share your story, where you can feel like you're not alone and you can connect and meet with so many other individuals that are similar to you or are often spending time in the hospital on a regular. So over there in that relevant group, we go live. They can interact with each other. They can talk and meet each other, ask each other questions. It's just a great support place to have for everyone to come together who's sick. And then the 420 Smoke Room is a little bit different than that, but we also have a little bit of medical because obviously patients that are cannabis users have a reason medically most of the time to be a cannabis user. So on this podcast, we talk sometimes about people's medical and why they smoke. We interview activists. You and I go live, and Lori and Steve, and we talk about Texas, the rules, the laws, the regulations, Delta 8, and all that good stuff. Then we also interview whoever wants to come on and do live sessions and just smoke a blunt and hang out. So it's kind of a mixture of things at the 420 Smoke Room. That's why it's a smoke room, because there's just so many different things to offer over there, plus a podcast that we launch on many different platforms as well as relevant. So yeah, and then I am the vice president of Canvas for the Cause, which is another nonprofit organization that I started back in 2017 with my sister. At the time, she was sick with small cell cancer, and we had started it to just painting pictures and sending them off to people, and later it just kind of became a thing, and we sell these packages now for people to paint and either donate to a person with cancer just so they can get a beautiful picture in the hospital, or they donate it back to us and we can auction it off and then give the money that's raised to a sick family that has cancer most of the time. And then last year we actually opened our grant programs to non-cancer patients. Because of the pandemic, it was really crazy. So we just opened this Christmas program and launched it called, I think it was called Angels. It was last year. I think it was called the Angels program, or Guardian Angels or Blessing Angels or something like that. And we adopted 16 different families for Christmas. They didn't have to have cancer. They just had to apply. And through the pandemic, we were able to help, families that way. Then we adopt different people who are sick, and we do benefits and fundraisers. We've done car washes, we've done bowling alleys that we've done, and sold plates, and it just depends on what the person has going on and how much we're currently trying to raise for their cause. So yeah, it's a great organization over there. So that was something I did, and I still do. But this year we kind of took a lot of time off. My sister had a rough year with her medical. I had a rough year with my medical and launching all my other things. But we've decided that this year we're probably going to relaunch that Christmas program again. So that's something that'll be out any day now that people can look for. And then I still have no, go ahead.
That's what we do here over at Canna Care Op too. We like to help children with fighting cancer as well as adults fighting cancer as well. So we like to do benefits and stuff like that to help people out.
Awesome. It's always great to give back, definitely. But it's hard to give back when you don't have either. So we often have to raise, because it's not like I'm wealthy. I'm not. So we have to raise that money in order to give that money, So when we do adopt a person or we do take on a project, we definitely want to be successful at that project. So we've learned over the years not to take on too much because of that. You don't want it to not be successful, and you don't want to take on more than what you can handle, because financially it's not like through the pandemic people are just donating left and right. We're not governmentally funded yet. Our goal is to get both nonprofit organizations up to a point to where we could get government grants and be able to help. And with Sprinkle for Some Love of the Cause, my goal with some of those grants would be able to give back to those who are stuck at the hospital, where their family's staying at hotels to be with them, or their bills back home weren't able to get paid because they spent a month in the hospital. When you are ill and you actually working and you're not dependent on a disability check, when you go to the hospital for a whole month, your kids still need to eat, your bills still need to get paid, but you obviously can't leave the hospital to go to work. So how does that get done? There's not a lot of organizations out there that are helping, even with the prescription co-fees. Right now, a lot of the medications for gastroparesis that are working are actually in Canada or Europe. So we have to pay to get them and then also get them internationally shipped, and they're not covered under insurance because they're not covered under insurance yet. Or here, they're not actually even here. Some of the technology in Canada and Europe is so far ahead with these diseases that it's great to learn. Like, that's, I don't really know how to express, because they're ahead. So we learn from them and then we go forward. But getting treatment from them is like an honor, but you have to pay a lot of money for the treatment. The treatment's not free, and you have to pay out of pocket now because insurance isn't going to cover Canada or Europe medication that isn't FDA approved here.
Wow.
So
yeah, we have a member of our group that her little boy has cancer, and it's like what you were saying. She wants to be home with him, but yet someone's got to pay bills, and they have a lot of medical.
yeah.
And her husband, both of them, she was working some part-time jobs because one salary wasn't enough. So, yeah, I think that's a great program, Trish, and we need to start one here as well. Well, we've had a raffle, Cancer for Kids, and we helped them out with that. But, yeah, they have a lot of medical, and I'm not going to say names, but his mother said that they only receive 4% funding for kids with cancer.
Yeah.
And that's not much, you know.
No, it's not. Like, when I was trying to go to Presbyterian Hospital or Willie Sloan Kettering, I think it's called, out in New York, they were only willing to cover 30% of my hospital bills. That means the other 70 I had to pay out of my pocket, and I had to pay to figure out how to get there and stay in a hotel for my family to stay in a hotel while I'm there, receiving whatever. And it was like, what? Like,
right.
So there's no special, like, insurance for people that are sick that, like, covers all of this crap? Like,
No,
really?
no,
And there's not.
no.
And each state actually has their own, like, their different things. So when you also are transferring, because a lot of these good hospitals for these rare diseases are there's
Right.
John Hopkins in Texas, and then there's Sloan Kettering in New York. There's Willie Presbyterian Cornell in New York, right across the street from Sloan Kettering. And then, like, literally, they got two of the best hospitals across the street from each other. And those are the three best places to go. Like, you're looking at Texas or New York, or you're looking at another facility that they own in another state. But those are their largest ones for cancer patients. Depending, you know, the other diseases, like there's a John Hopkins in California, but it specializes, I believe, in like different stuff. I believe it's California or South Carolina, one of those C states. But in Texas, that's their cancer, like their good one, the location in Texas. I had filled out paperwork to go there and tried to get approved years ago as well. But again, insurance would only pay 30%.
Right.
And 30% when you're looking at like a bone marrow test or transplant or biopsies, or you're looking at too much money.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you could help so many families with that one bill. Like,
Right.
so yeah, it's not. So it's something obviously I never went through with, and then I ended up finding doctors here and a leukemia specialist here who took on my case. That Michigan University here is great. But Michigan University often will send you to other states like those two, and they will turn you away for certain things. And now we have another one with a C, the Carmelo Cancer Institute. They just intertwined with a Beaumont Hospital out here, and they've also built another floor. They've been expanding, so they're kind of taking over. So hopefully that'll become the next like hub, almost like New York and Texas, in the cancer hospital world. And then that'll bring a lot more medical stuff to the fields here. Because Michigan University, they have so much education and knowledge, but there's no school implemented the knowledge. There's no, like, hospital. Hopefully that hospital will be the one implemented the Michigan University knowledge.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, but anyways, long story short, that's pretty much where I'm at, is just trying to have these vibes, chill, and just focus on life. I just found over the years that I was constantly coming across people who were sick because of my illnesses, that I was surrounded by similar people with all these rare diseases that were just like me, That made me not feel alone, you know? So that's kind of why I launched and created the platforms that I did. Just, you know, to keep them all together and, you know, let them associate and learn from each other. Because some of them are way sicker than I ever was, so at times. So it's like you can only help someone through your own experience. And then after that, you kind of got to send them to somebody else that's more like them, you know? To really give them the good answers that they're looking for medically or the advice, because I can only give medical advice on what I know from firsthand experience most of the time. You feel me?
Yes, dude.
So yeah, it's a great place to just get to learn everybody and get people to link up to are on the same stages of diseases and chronically ill.
Right, and I would like to tell everybody we're a part of the Texas Human Solution chapter. Anyway, if you need any court support, we're here to help. You can contact us at the Human Solution, Texas Human Solutions. Court support, if you need any help with clothing, food, anything like that. With
yes, they'll be on tonight. The co-founder Glenn, who was on earlier, he'll be on tonight with us. I believe it's like 7 or 8 o'clock. I believe it's 8.
Right.
He put a message on Gift of Life that he don't know what happened. He said he was walking away and he lost us.
Oh, but, it was probably his service.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get in contact with Glenn. Of course, he's been working a lot here lately. And,
well, hop on tonight with us, and he'll be here.
Right, and I would also like to get Billy Blades to come on with us as well. I see he's doing a lot of good for Ohio. I think he got 4 or 5 counties in Ohio night before last on board.
Oh, that's great. Why don't you reach out and send him a message and see how that works? Maybe we could get him on in the smoke room and Gift of Life and see what he's got to say.
Right, because I think he can teach us a lot as well as Glenn. Glenn's got a lot of knowledge.
Yes, I definitely want to pick Glenn's brain tonight for sure, because I got some questions about this Texas law, and he seems to know those answers. So, with that being said...
He knows the answers. He does. He's
yes. So with that being said, let's leave this where it's at and end this smoke sesh. And we will see you guys tonight for another sesh with Glenn around 8 o'clock. We'll be live. Come join us and see what he has to say and what his advice is on what the next step is. So we should definitely bring a notebook and pen.
Right.
Yes, right. Of course.
We should get educated.
Thank y'all for coming to watch us or join us. Listening to us.
Alrighty, yep. So I will see you guys tonight on the 420 Smoke Room. Until then, enjoy.